Welcome back into the Sports Source, this segment of our show brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. Let me tell you about something that I am very impressed with in their business, and that is Tennova's Men's Health Center of Excellence. 1 in 6 men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetimes. Now the treatment of that disease is less scary thanks to Tennova and their Men's Health Center of Excellence. You get a nurse navigator who will walk you through every step of the process, the questions, the treatment, and the recovery. Tennova.com is where you can learn more. All right, guys, the hot topic at the start of the week and all through the week, really, Peyton Manning's performance in the playoffs. The Broncos lost to the Colts. Manning didn't look good. It came out afterwards on Monday. Adam Schefter reported that he was playing with a torn quad. The team then came out and said, no, he had a strained quad. I had a torn quad. You don't play through a torn quad. I'm guessing it was a bad strain, which technically there is some tearing of the fiber there. But if he played through a torn quad, I think he'd be having off-season surgery to repair that. Troy Tulowitzki of the Rockies missed several months with a torn quad. But Manning, no question, was injured in some way. And Phil Simms this week, I thought it was interesting, said he's never seen any quarterback in football that throws more with his legs than Peyton Manning. But I wanted to show some numbers. We're going to talk about should he retire, shouldn't he? That's what everybody's been saying. What these numbers show are his play dropped off before the injury. The first 7 weeks he was at an MVP pace. Then, starting with the Patriots game, week 8, things started to go south. And what the Patriots did was kind of copy Seattle, which is also what the Colts did this past week, and that is we're going to take away the short intermediate, and we're going to make you throw to the outside and throw deep. And his numbers, you can see, dropped off on every level. Then he hurt his leg supposedly in the San Diego game, week 14, and that's on through the playoffs, the divisional round. They dropped off further. On the other hand, you look at that would tell you, okay, it's dropping off, maybe it's time to go. But let's look at Manning versus his peers. All right, 6th in the NFL in completion percentage, 4th in yards, nearly 5,000. Yards per attempt, he ranked 5th. Touchdowns, only Andrew Luck had more with 40. Passer rating 4th. His team went 12-4. He was the number 2 seed in his conference. He lost in the divisional round of the playoffs. There are a lot of teams that would like those numbers for their quarterback. So I don't want your answers. We'll answer this a little later, but I do want you to make some cases to retire, to stay. Josh, I'll start with, and let me introduce Josh Ward. Josh Ward, of course, joining us from Sports Radio WNML.
You've got it down now, by the way.
Yeah, that's right. You can hear him Monday through. I'll mess it up. You can hear him Monday through Friday with Sports 180 right there. Josh, thanks for joining us. I'll start with you. Case for against Manning retiring. When you look at both sets of numbers, you can go either way.
Yeah, I'll start with the case for, and you add it all up. Those 3 brackets that you put together, John, and I would say add it all up, and the numbers are going to be very similar to what he was 2 years ago, his first season in Denver, when he was coming off the neck surgeries, when we wondered what kind of player he could be. He put up really big numbers. I think part of it is looking at this year overall and where he is at the end. I think we're comparing it to 55 touchdowns in 2013, and that hurts his case right now.
Make a case for or against.
The case for would be that only one other quarterback threw more touchdown passes and only 3 other quarterbacks threw for more yards. And though he was not as effective at the end of the year, he still played at a level effective enough to win your division title. So, and you mentioned this earlier, there are a lot of teams that would like to take what they were able to do, and I still think he can be effective enough to help his team win a division title.
Yeah, it's too bad football doesn't have a closer role like John Smoltz, where you can go from being a starter to being a closer later in your career. I think you make the case that you can stay, but you've got to see if you're getting more than 90% of what we're used to seeing. Peyton Manning at 90% can still do very well. I think what you got to worry about and wonder about is when it gets into the cold weather months, what happens, and this has been a trend in his career. So I think you stay until it's obvious that it's over.
The thing you look at with closer role, I saw somebody say, bring him back, don't play him in the preseason, don't play him in September. Just start him in October. See if you can get through that first month with Brock Osweiler.
That'd be the Clemens move, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. He'd be the Roger Clemens. I think I'll take it the other direction. And one of the fears would be, if he comes back next year, and you're Denver having to put out $19 million for next year, would you feel comfortable? Let's say he recovers from those quad injuries, or quad 1 or 2, whichever it is. He gets his thighs back to normal. When you turn 39, and 3 of us here know what that was like, 1 does not, but you will.
I hear bad things.
You will. Once you hit that level, you start to tear more muscles and sprain more muscles, and it takes longer to recover. The fear would be, if I'm Peyton Manning and I feel good this summer, it's like my legs are back, are they going to be there by next December?
Exactly.
That would be the concern. The older you get, the more your body's just going to break down. It's natural. It happens to everybody.
Well, and I thought Joe Theismann made a great point the other day. He was saying in an interview, this happened to him at age 34. That he got to where he could see things just as well. He knew where he needed to go with the ball, but it just didn't work as well as it did before.
Well, Manning's been smart enough to compensate for some of his lack of arm strength that he used to have. And I think as more teams play him, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take away that underneath, we're going to make you throw it deep. Here's the thing, too, about Manning, in my opinion. He has been arguably the best regular season quarterback we've seen, but he has not been a great playoff quarterback. And if the argument against him is, can he get you where you want to go, which is a Super Bowl, I'm not sure about that because I don't think in the playoffs he plays as effectively as he does in the regular season.
And if the coach just left after 4 division titles, who is the next coach going to be? Is it going to be Gary Kubiak? I mean, who is it going to be?
And that's another one, because who do you bring in as coach? Because they're going to have to keep Peyton Manning's offense. Gary Kubiak has a Gary Kubiak offense with the cut blocks and the runs, and a quarterback who's mobile. He'll have to just say, okay, we'll let Peyton run his offense, depending on what Adam Gase does. So, all right, we got to catch a break. When we come back, Josh is going to be back a little later to talk recruiting. When we come back, we'll talk Tennessee's tournament resume. Did not expect to be looking at that in January. Come on back.
Quality, quick. Trust Fast Frame.